Have you ever visited a water park so boring, so awful, so just disgusting and poorly run and overpriced and painful and overcrowded and just outright terrible? It makes you think, man, do I even like amusement parks anymore? Yes, you do. You've just outgrown the bad ones. Howdy, Texas, and welcome to the worst bang for your buck water park in the entire state. This is a place of regretful season pass purchases. This is Typhoon Texas Austin. Typhoon Texas Austin is now $15 less than the location in Houston. I swear that was not the case previously. The season pass for both locations are the same, and that's because the season pass includes both locations. They'll expect the people at the front gate to give you problems about that fact despite it being stated clearly on their website. Moments like these make me think being a Karen can be justified. Moments when you buy a product that you are not receiving. In the capitalist hellscape, we've landed within every penny counts. That being said, I don't encourage being awful to amusement park workers. They're just trying to survive too. And the workers at this park are far from the worst problem. The problem is that there's barely any water in the front half of this water park. The problem is that the turbulence at the end of these slides flips you out of your tube almost every time, and the water isn't deep enough for that not to be painful. And the problem is they put ejector airtime on the mat slide, so that when you reach the bottom, you do a painful belly flop. The problem is you want to ride with even a single friend? You have two options in the entire park. Yeah, that pink slide with the big drop at the end, that can't be ridden with a friend anymore. Also, the zip line is broken. A huge part of what this park offered is no longer part of the experience, and yet they still charge the same price that they did when the zip line was active. Again, they may have reduced the price later in the summer because it was more expensive when I bought the season pass, but that could just be an end of summer sale thing. I'm not entirely sure. The lazy river also used to have these waterfalls spread throughout it that you might be able to see on screen right now, but those are gone too. You can literally see the sprinklers on it. They just don't work anymore. I'm unfortunately a season pass holder, so I can confirm this was the case at the beginning, middle, and end of the summer. The wave pool, the lazy river, the standard pool, every section of the water has a severe lack of foliage, and because of the overpopulation problem in Austin, all these places are overcrowded on every day that it's not raining. Even without the overcrowding, I've never been to a water park that I've wanted so badly to leave after just 2 hours, but I doubt y'all want to hear me vent about general park maintenance issues, which is most certainly a problem at both Typhoon Texases. So let's talk about what's really important to a coaster enthusiast at a water park. The rides. I'm not a big fan of drop slides, partly because they intimidate me and partly because I don't fully trust myself to not get severely injured on one. You can't really ride a coaster or a tube slide incorrectly. You can ride a steep body slide incorrectly very easily. That being said, if I did want to ride this slide, I couldn't, because it was closed almost every day of this summer. The main appeal of the park for thrill seekers is just, it's gone after like the first 2 weeks of owning the season pass this summer. And you best believe they have a no refund policy. And then there's Dollywood that refund me for my season pass faster than I can get Venmo money in my bank account. Thank you, Dollywood. Now, what about the rides that are open? Well, the body slides. I want to preface this section by saying I did not do the kiddie slides either. That section was always the most overcrowded, and I wasn't even certain they'd let me on those slides without a kid with me. So just know, if you want to avoid the worst of the Pflugerville crowd, avoid the middle of the park. That's unfortunately where most of the water is, but, hey, the snake pit's over here. The snake pit has 3 slides of varying quality. The first is dark blue and is a bumpy experience. Wear a shirt during this one, I kid you not, it feels like your back is being repeatedly sliced by a knife when you're on this slide. The one advantage of this ride is if being in a tunnel spooks you, this one is almost completely outside, which is my preference because I tend to get stuck on these things a lot, and that didn't change while riding this slide whatsoever, which makes me just think, like, why do body slides even exist? Just put a mat on it or something to prevent people from getting stuck. Jesus. The second is the green slide. I'll admit I like to see where I'm going. So like on the dark blue slide, I'll sit up, which seems to slow me down. That doesn't happen on the green slide, because if it did, I'd have a concussion, or maybe I wouldn't because the slide crawls through its layout. Look at that ending right there, though. Okay, well, what do you see? That's right, that's straight track. No tilt, no curve, nothing. Just some thunderhead type straight track on a body water slide. How I didn't ram into the last person when I went down this thing is honestly beyond me. Then there's the light blue slide. This one intimidated me at first, but I have to admit, this is probably the best slide in the whole park. It picks up enough speed to give you some laterals towards the bottom, and the small dip at the end of the slide was honestly pretty good. It's also just a great first drop on a body slide. I still didn't love that I couldn't see where I was going, but that's the case with all body slides and also added to the throw factor in a way that wasn't too overwhelming for me. Overall, the Snake Pit gets a low D tier with 2 F tier slides and 1 C tier slide. The tube slides. The 3 tube slides at the front of the park also vary in quality. The water pressure at the end of these rides might be the worst in the entire park. At the same time, though, each of these slides do have their own advantages, but are still laughably bad when you compare them to even the slides at Typhoon Texas Sister Park in Houston, and especially if you compare it to something like the tube slides at Aquatica or Hurricane Harbor. Those parks operate on a bigger budget, sure, but the quality of rides at the Houston location mostly nullifies that excuse. That being said, the worst of the 3 here is probably the light blue slide. The main advantage of it is it's the only slide with any kind of drop in the entire park that you're able to ride with 2 people. The main disadvantages are its short length, the horrible water pressure after the drop, and its lack of any unique elements throughout its layout. It also gets probably the longest line of the 3, but sometimes yellow can be longer. Speaking of yellow, I'd say it's the next best. It's the best ride if you can only ride one ride in the park and one ride with a partner. It's the longest of any slide in the park, and the darkness actually kind of adds to the experience in a budgeted kind of way. The twists and turns toward the top of the slide have an element of surprise in them, and then get less surprising the closer to the light you get at the bottom. That's kind of cool, but I'd personally rather see lighting effects inside the tube than get the most bog standard water slide experience that basically every park has at least one of. The pink slide has the best drop in the park. It's a short layout, but it's relatively thrilling, offers a pop of airtime at the end, and it's honestly super fun. You can only ride by yourself on this one because the park has some safety concerns with this ride, which is beyond concerning that the only ride with any drop whatsoever already has safety concerns. Other water parks have 2 slides with way bigger drops than this one, and they run them perfectly fine. And the drop slide being closed all summer too, it feels like this park, for some reason, is unable to operate water slides that have drops on them in an effective manner. What do we have here other than slides? A mediocre lazy river, a mediocre wave pool, a beanbag / cornhole game that a different park may have charged you for, so that's kind of cool. Not a water park activity though. If they somehow found a way to make like a cornhole type game in the water or add some sprinklers around it, then we'd have something to talk about here, but in its current form it's just There's a decent swimming pool that's fun when it's not busy. Even the mediocre parts of this park can be fun when it's not busy. That's just rare. I actually quite like the rope course. I mean, anyone can have dumb fun on a rope course, especially if you're bad at it. But Schlitterbahn New Braunfels has one of these too. It's just, this water park has nothing that a different water park doesn't do better. And that leads me cleanly into the worst ride in the park, the mat slide. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this ride is designed to have ejector airtime. And I know this because the drop angle of the bumps on this slide is near identical to the drop angle on the bunny hills to Steel Eel. This is not the type of ride to have aggressive Steel Eel type ejector airtime. There are slides like this that do graceful airtime perfectly, the one at SeaWorld for example, but this kind of curvature is not fun. It's just painful and is by far the worst slide I've ever been on. It makes me so glad this place is not where I experienced my first drop slide, because I just know that it'd be just as painful. But if you were planning on going to this park and wanted a thrilling experience like that, I feel for you. With a park that offers so little, anything being closed is a massive hit. And this summer, they closed the zip line, they closed the drop slide, and they made the best tube slide in the park into a single-person slide because of the park's inability to handle slides with drops. I'm not sure if there was an incident of some kind, but I wouldn't be surprised. And if anyone has a story to tell about their experience with these parks' poor ride quality, roughness, and terrible management, share it in the comments below. The lack of criticism for this park is probably leading way too many people to get tickets for it, when Schlitterbahn New Braunfels isn't too far away from Austin anyway. I live 5 minutes from this park right now, and even I regret getting the season pass. The reviews for this park give it a 4.4 out of 5 if you look it up on Google Reviews. Those are likely from old reviews when the park was in a better state, when the zipline was active, when all the slides were working. But this park, even functioning at maximum potential, it's a 3 out of 5 on its best day. So what did we learn from today? Don't trust Google Reviews. I don't usually recommend leaving reviews about your bad experiences at a park, but I've heard a lot of horror stories since I moved to Austin, and the more people share them, the less money people will waste on this experience, which is worth maybe $20 at most, and that's primarily for someone with kids. Literally any other park in Texas would be a better choice than this one. And Texas has so many great options as well, that the fact that this is Austin's best offering when it comes to water parks is honestly embarrassing. But hey, at least options for water rides in Austin is about to improve significantly. For you see, Codaland is about to open the Soggy Lager. the hell is it called that? Thank you guys so much for watching. I won't make water park videos my new normal, but this is a park that tricks the Austin locals into being an experience that it's not, and I genuinely felt a moral duty to talk about the truth behind this park's mediocrity, especially considering seemingly no one else on this site would. Comment below and let me know what your favorite park in the Texas vicinity is, and if there's any obscure parks that you want a video on next. There are quite a few obscure parks in Houston that I plan on making videos about after moving there, so stay tuned for that. The month of September is going to be busy for me, so we probably got one more video this month, then a short hiatus next month because of my move and whatnot. But regardless, thanks you guys again, and I will see you in the next and last episode for this month of Chicken Coop Coasters.